of the most common mistakes most golfers will make is that before they even swing, their alignment position will be aiming either too far to the right or too far to the left. So to understand the correct swing path, which is what we're trying to accomplish, is to make a good swing path with the club head and to try to get the club face back to square at impact, it's important to know where your target line will be and that your body is always aiming parallel left of the target line. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to find the proper alignment position for all your clubs. To find the proper alignment position, you want to pretend you're standing on a railroad track. So the right side of the railroad track is going to be where your club is aiming, and the left side of the railroad track will be where your feet are aiming parallel left. So you can picture right side of the track is where your target line will be, which is where your club will be pointing, and the left side of the railroad track is where your feet will be pointing. So it's really important to get your club aiming in the direction that you want the ball to go. And your feet are going to be parallel left of your target line. So one of the most common mistakes we see is that golfers will aim their body at the target, and then your club will be aiming to the right of your target, which may cause you to have an incorrect swing path. So let's walk through the steps on how to find your alignment. Okay, so once you've picked out your target, where you want to actually hit the golf ball, assuming we're hitting a straight shot for purposes of this video, the next thing you want to do is pick an intermediate target. And an intermediate target should be about 6 to 8 inches in front of the golf ball, so that when you set up to the ball, you'll be able to look straight down at your target instead of looking out sideways at your target, which may distort your view. So the first thing I'm going to do is stand behind the ball, and I'm going to pick a spot between the yellow flag and my golf ball that's about 6 to 8 inches in front of the ball. So from there, once I pick that spot, I'm going to continue to look at that spot until I set up the club to the ball. So at this point, I have this spot right here in my eyesight. I'm going to set the club to that spot first. Then I'm going to set my body to the club. So my body will end up being parallel left, like it's on the left side of the railroad track. This is my target line, which is the right side of the railroad track. So now I'm set up to where my club can swing to the yellow target. Now that you know how to find your setup position, let's talk about the different length clubs and how that's going to affect your setup. So I have here a sand wedge, an 8-iron, and my 5-wood. Now I want you to notice that all three of these clubs are a different length. So the difference when I set up to a golf shot, if I think about the railroad tracks, for a sand wedge, the railroad track is going to be more narrow than if I have a 5-wood or a driver. As the longer the club, the more the railroad track widens. So when you're hitting your driver, you may feel like your body is aiming more to the left or more parallel left than you would if you're standing to it and addressing a sand wedge or a pitching wedge or one of your shorter clubs. So keep that in mind. That's why it's important to start with your intermediate target, pick your spot, aim your club over that spot first. Then once you set up to your club, now I feel a little bit farther away from the ball than I did with my pitching wedge, and that's going to be normal. The length of the club will determine how wide your railroad track will be. Okay, let's do a review. So first I'm going to stand behind the ball. I'm going to pick my intermediate target. I'm going to keep my eyes on the immediate target, which is right there in front of me. I'm going to first line up the club, then I'm going to set my feet parallel left of this spot, this intermediate target. So now, right now, I feel like I'm standing on a railroad track. The club is aiming down the target line, and I'm just going to do a quick check before I go. Try that setup. See if it helps with your swing path.